When I look at Liberia from the perspective of women activism, I tell you that we're at a very good place. And we just need to continue the mentorship for these women. When it comes to the politics and political participation for women, I think we still have a lot of work to do. I think one of the key things we need to do is to move away from this space and this thinking of, oh, President Sirleaf didn't accomplish X, Y, Z. So whatever her failures, and I'm putting that in quotes, where we pass it on to any woman who aspires to be. And most times you find that really being put out there by women, oh, we have one woman president and she didn't do this, this, this. However, from 1847 until today, we've had only one woman president or male president. There will always be failures with governments, but citizens must never give up on taking one pebble and throwing it into the lake to create that ripple effect. And when I come home, when I'm here, that's the mindset with which I operate. Now, whatever I'm doing, even in this fight for helping hospitals get oxygen tank and generators and fuel, I know it's nothing, it's just a scratch on the surface. But my attitude is if I can help one family achieve their goals, achieve their dreams, I have done service to Liberia.
What are your thoughts around the fact that protests still need to take place? The fact that so many governments seem to have to be pressured into reacting. Did you hope, or at least by this point, that that was not going to necessarily be the vehicle through which change happens?
No, I've never, ever. I'm an optimist when it comes to Africa. I believe that we're going to be the next big thing. But when it comes to our leaders, sometimes I'm pessimistic. My optimism is that a day will come, a time will come in Africa where we will not need to protest because, but that time is resting on our shoulders and our ability to mentor the next generation of leaders of integrity. And so you have millions of people whose future is resting on a few individuals who are only there for their self gain and for their self enrichment. So we need to move away from this mindset of, oh, I'm not a politician, I'm just a journalist. Oh, I'm not a politician, I'm just a peace activist. We are all politicians. And until we get to that place where we say, we will help to shape the political landscape of our continent, we'll continue to bemoan the fact that we have to protest for things to change.
And the role that women specifically play. Obviously, you're a woman, you participated and have been participating with alongside women. Do you see that as a big driving force in change?
I think the role of women is a huge driving force in change. I also feel like as we drive change, we need to not worry too much about the how do I say the popular opinion. What we need now is to really gird our waist and put our hearts in freezers as women because the time has come for us to move away from just advocating for change. There needs to be a balance. That's what I'm trying to say in civil society and in government. And we're never happy if we continue to see government as enemy.
What role do you see protests playing in the future in terms of electing and keeping more women in positions of power? So that some of these protests, some of them which really push for the rights for women, don't have to necessarily come through protest? Or is that an issue at all?
Let me just say one thing to you. And people always ask me, what is your regret when you protested for peace in Liberia? My biggest regret is that when we protested, we didn't have a group of women locked up in a room drawing out a political strategy for women's involvement in politics. That is my biggest regret. That and it will continue to happen because every time I see protests like Egypt, like Sudan, like all of the places that they've had protests, women are always in the front chanting and they become the poster child or the poster figure for everything for success. And then when it comes to determining the leadership after the protest, you don't see them anymore. Until we add our protests to strategies around political inclusion, we will continue to protest. We'll continue to be used as the face of protest and never seen in government and never seen in leadership position. We've moved away from just being in protest to being in a room where decisions are being made.
We are in 2021. The last Nobel Peace Prize that was given to a woman from Africa was you and former President Johnson Sirleaf, and prior to that, environmentalist Dr. Wangari Maathai of Kenya. What does this representation of peace efforts by women, recognized through the Nobel Peace Prize, mean for the future?
If you move from Cameroon to Uganda to Kenya to wherever there's a crisis on our continent, at the grassroots level, which is the level that is most important, the women are the ones keeping these societies together. The women are the first humanitarians. They are the first responders. They are the first ones asking for peace processes. But we've seen over time people covering the work that these women doing by trying to make it just grassroots effort, just grassroots work, just, oh, it's just the women. And I think the just narrative is to take away the gravity or the strength that these women bring to the work that they do and to take away the importance of what they're doing. Because I can tell you for free that probably our story would not have been out there had there not been a documentary called Pray the Devil Back to Health. Because Pray the Devil Back to Health came out years after we finished doing the work. People in the media needs to help because until we can transform that just narrative, people will continue to really play down or downplay the work that women are doing in these different communities. I hope to see more women laureates, whether African or Asian, but of course, I would love to see more African women laureates. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I know the Nobel is one of the biggest, if not the biggest peace prize in the world. But there are other prizes now that people are putting out there. And I'm hopeful that sooner rather than later, those prizes will recognize some of the incredible work that is being done on the continent by women.